one of the true inspirations of filmmaking is a man called George Méliès. Now, what George Méliès done was he kind of, I'm not sure if he did start special effects, but he developed it. He made it something so incredible. Like, imagine our sort of feelings when we saw the first. Do you remember? If I try and think back, remember when we saw the first Transformers come out? Everyone went crazy over it. It was all anyone knew Transformers were for was the cartoon, and suddenly everyone was going crazy over the fact that they've made a real life version. Well, think of that, and think of that 10 times more excitement. Think how people would have felt back then when the man pretty much created special effects. He made something move in thing that like nobody thought would happen in film without it actually happening in real life. One of the films that kicked off the most, and it's a very popular film, is a film called Trip to the Moon. Now, what made Trip to the Moon so incredible was the special effects. I'm not sure if it was the first movie to have special effects, but it really developed special effects for today. He's incredible inspiration to most special effects artists and editors because of the way he created. He's the godfather of special effects because of the Trip to the Moon being. I'll probably have the Trip to the Moon as a clip somewhere there, but the way he worked with it was so incredible. Looking at the Trip to the Moon video, thinking of what they had back then, like they didn't have computers, they didn't have Adobe After Effects, they didn't have Sony Vegas, they didn't have Final Cut Pro, they didn't have Adobe Premiere. But back he had the illusions to make the thing, because how they and I did Wikipedia this and I might be wrong, I'm not sure, but they stop motioned every effect, and you can obviously see, watching Trip to the Moon now, you can obviously tell of filmmaking that it has obviously been stop motion. There is obviously a stop motion. You can see clearly that if I show the ship landing on the moon scene, it stop motions its way down, and that's pretty much how they did it. Pretty much back then it was theatre. Let's just say it's theatre. They had a set, but think of it in this way, right? They had a box. They would have you know how they do with stop motion now, or how they do things like Wallace and Gromit. It is Wallace and Gromit, isn't it? Yeah, like Wallace and Gromit. They took a box, they built the set, and they stop motioned it. So like you have I'll keep replaying the landing scene, but they built a moon set, and what they did was they get a papered drawn ship, and they stop motion it down, and they stop motion it to the ground, and then and this is really good about this. This is so cool, and like it's amazing. It's incredible. It's such a good piece of filmmaking. It pretty much kicked off special effects, and so yeah, pretty much. Let's take Trip to the Moon, and let's compare it with something like Star Trek. Not the old ones, the new J.J. Abrams versions of them. I'll show two different clips, either above me or to the side, and I'll compare them both. As you know, with Trip to the Moon, it is it's really well done. Like, it's so well done. But watching both of these, I reckon you would obviously pick Star Trek, because not only does it look better, the colour correction's a lot more improved using editing. Using editing, they've got a lot of flares and a lot of nice CGI type stuff, and a lot of they've really I would say they've really gone out with the look of the film, editing wise. Whereas Trip to the Moon, it's got no colour correction. It's pretty much black and white the entire video. It's got I would say look wise, a very sloppy looking technique of look, but that's look. If I would have to pick between who put the most effort into film, I would say Trip to the Moon, because this film was completely practical. This film was completely done on computer. You could tell that it was clearly colour corrected on computer. Most of the optical flares were probably on the computer. They probably put more budget into it, so they had, and these people had they probably had 50 to 70 people editing it at once, so different people editing different things, so they got it done a lot quicker. Whereas this film, you had one person editing, you had no plugins or no editing softwares on a computer. All of this was practical. This entire film was practical, and so that's pretty much it for that wise.